and power supply. Click. The memory refers to a chip that stores data. The processor retrieves the information stored in the memory for processing the data. The storage capacity of a memory depends on the type of the memory package used. When people refer to the memory, they are usually speaking about the physical memory or the random access memory, which is a type of physical memory. The physical memory comprises of memory chips. Physical memory stores programs and data that a microprocessor requires. Therefore, it enables the microprocessor to access the required programs and data quickly. Even if you have a RAM with a relatively large capacity in your system, you may have problems running multiple applications or an application with a large memory requirement. However, this problem can be solved using the virtual memory. The virtual memory is a part of the hard disk which is used as a temporary storage area to store applications that are currently running. The virtual memory is much larger than the physical memory. Applications or parts of applications that are currently running but not being accessed frequently are copied to the virtual memory, which is on the hard disk. This frees up the space in the RAM to run other tasks. When a program in the virtual memory has to be run, it is copied from the virtual memory to the main or real memory. To facilitate the copying of data between the memory and the virtual memory is divided into pages. Each page, which is a fixed number of bytes, consists of a number of virtual addresses. Copying of data from the virtual memory to the real memory is known as paging or swapping. Physical memory can be broadly classified as primary storage and secondary storage. In this lesson, we will deal with the primary memory. Primary memory can be further classified as random access memory and read-only memory. Random access means any byte can be accessed in any order. The microprocessor can read and write programs and data to the RAM. It is a type of volatile memory which loses the data as soon as the system is turned off. Read-only means that the program and data can only be read from it and cannot be written to it. Most PCs contain a small amount of ROM to store programs needed to boot. It is a non-volatile memory that does not lose the data even after the system is turned off. Therefore, it is a permanent data storage area. Before we learn about the RAM, let us learn more about the different types of ROM. The different types of ROM include Programmable Read-Only Memory or PROM, Erasable Programmable Read-Only Memory or EPROM, and Electrically Erasable and Programmable Read-Only Memory EEPROM. Programmable read-only memory or PROM stores the program permanently. Data can only be written once to the PROM. A PROM is a non-volatile memory. Erasable programmable read-only memory, that is EPROM, clears the program when exposed to the ultraviolet rays. Therefore, the EPROM can be reprogrammed after the program has been erased. Electrically erasable programmable read-only memory, that is EEPROM, clears the program when exposed to the electrical voltage. Therefore, the EEPROM can be reprogrammed after the program has been erased. In this lesson, you will learn how to identify the various types of RAM, describe the various memory packages, install and upgrade RAM, and troubleshoot the memory. Click Next to continue. RAM is the main memory of the computer. It holds the operating system, programs, and data that are currently in use. Therefore, it enables the processor to quickly access the programs and data. The processor can quickly read from and write to the RAM as compared to the other storage devices such as the hard disk, floppy disk, and CD-ROM. RAM is small in both the physical size as well as the amount of data it can hold. It is much smaller than the hard disk. It is available in the form of separate microchips as well as in the form of modules. The different types of RAM are static RAM, dynamic RAM, and video RAM. The static RAM, that is, the SRAM, does not require refreshing like DRAM. SRAM stores the data as long as power is supplied to the system. This is because SRAM is made up of transistors that do not require refreshing. SRAM is used as the computer's cache memory. The cache memory is classified as L1 cache, L2 cache, and L3 cache. L1 cache is the primary cache found on the microprocessor, which stores the instructions that are often used. It is small in size and the fastest memory in the PC. L2 cache resides between the L1 cache and the main memory. It is larger than the L1 cache. In terms of speed, it is next only to the L1 cache in the PC. It may be found as a separate chip on the motherboard. However, lately it is being provided on the microprocessor. L3 cache is the extra cache that is provided on the motherboard when the L2 cache is provided on the microprocessor. VRAM is used in video adapters or video systems. It stores the images that are to be displayed on the computer screen. It provides more bandwidth to work with systems requiring higher resolution and color depths than DRAM and EDO DRAM. VRAM reads and writes the data simultaneously. The life of data in DRAM is very short, about few milliseconds. In order to retain the data, the storage cells need to be refreshed after few milliseconds. Because of the constant refreshing of the cells, this memory is referred to as dynamic RAM. DRAM stores data in the memory cells. Each memory cell contains a transistor and a capacitor. Capacitors lose their charge quickly, and as a result, they need to be refreshed. Refreshing helps to retain the data in the memory. There are various types of DRAM, which are all faster than the regular DRAM. These include Fast Page Mode DRAM or FPM DRAM, Extended Data Out DRAM or EDO DRAM, Rambus Dynamic Random Access Memory or RDRAM, and Synchronous Dynamic Random Access Memory or SDRAM. The various types of DRAM also include the Double Data Rate Synchronous DRAM or DDR-SDRAM, Double Data Rate 2 Synchronous DRAM, DDR2-SDRAM. SDRAM is a relatively fast DRAM which synchronizes the memory speed with the CPU clock speed. SDRAM speed depends on the speed of the CPU bus. It operates at 100 or 133 MHz. DDR-SDRAM is a version of SDRAM with a data transfer rate almost twice that of the regular SDRAM. This memory chip consumes less power. It operates at 266 MHz. Double Data Rate 2 SDRAM is the latest version of SDRAM. DDR2 SDRAM has a higher clock speed than DDR SDRAM and is fast gaining popularity. It operates at 400 or 533 MHz. Identify the appropriate description for each type of RAM by dragging the RAM type to the characteristic. Good job! Good job! Good job! RAM is available as individual chips or as modules. The modules or memory packages are multiple memory chips arranged on a circuit board. It contains pins for accepting data from the control circuit. The installation of a memory depends on the form factors of a RAM. The form factor refers to the size and shape of the memory packages. Memory packages vary in size and the number and arrangement of pins. They also differ in characteristics such as size of a data bus of a memory module, error checking and correcting module, that is ECC, and parity and non-parity chips. The size of the data bus specifies the amount of information that is flowing in each clock cycle. The data bus size differs in the different memory modules. A single-sided memory module will have a different data bus size from a double-sided memory module. The error checking and correcting modules detect single-bit and multiple-bit errors. The memory bus uses this module for detecting and correcting errors of the memory block. A BIOS program in the ECC module uses the parity checking program for checking the accuracy of the data transmission from the memory to the processor. The memory chips group the parity bits into 7-bit block of memory for an ECC module. The parity checking module detects the errors that may occur when the data is transferred from the CPU to the memory. This module only detects and notifies the user about the error. It does not log the error. The error is logged using the ECC module. Some of the memory packages available nowadays include Single Inline Memory Module or SIMM, Dual Inline Memory Module or DIMM, Small Outline Dual Inline Memory Module or SODIMM, and Micro DIMM. The SIMM is a circuit board that holds a number of memory chips, usually DRAM chips. SIMMs are usually found on older PCs. A SIMM package may have 30 pins or 72 pins. A 30-pin SIMM may have 2, 4, or 8 chips, whereas a 72-pin chip, also known as PS2, may have 2, 4, 8, or 16 chips. An extra chip, if present, is the parity error checking module. A 30-pin SIMM package has a data bus width of 8 bits with 9-bit parity. A 72-pin SIMM package has 32-bit data width with 36-bit parity. The capacities of a 30-pin SIMM package are 256 KB, 1 MB, 2 MB, 4 MB, 8 MB, and 16 MB RAM. The 72-pin package comes in capacities of 1 MB, 2 MB, 4 MB, 8 MB, 16 MB, 32 MB, 64 MB, and 128 MB RAM. On Pentium systems, you need to install two 72-pin SIMMs. Pentium systems have a 64-bit data path, whereas a 72-pin SIMM has 32-bit data width. Can you identify which of the following SIMM packages can be used to install 128 MB RAM in a Pentium machine? That's not right. You need to use two SIMMs, 64 MB each, rather than a single SIMM of 128 MB when installing SIMM memory modules in a Pentium machine. DIMM memory packages are more commonly used in PCs nowadays than SIMM. DIMMs have a 64-bit, 72-bit, or 80-bit data width. Therefore, they do not have to be installed in pairs like SIMMs. The regular DIMM package has 168 pins, with 84 pins on either side of the package. A 168-pin DIMM package is available in the SDRAM, EDO, or FPM DRAM chips. Along the lower edge, which holds the pins, DIMMs have two small notches. The DIMM packages with DDR and DDR2 chips are popular today. DDR DIMM packages have 184 pins and 64-bit data width. DDR2 DIMM packages have 240 pins and 64-bit data width. Variations of the DIMM package include SO-DIMM package and Micro DIMM package. Click the images to learn more. Match the description of each type of memory package by dragging the description to the corresponding image. Good job. Good job. Careful. Try again. That's incorrect. Good job. Good job. Next, you will learn how to install a DDR SDRAM DIMM memory module. Before installing the RAM, first check whether the memory module is compatible with the microprocessor and the motherboard. DDR SDRAM can be installed only on a motherboard with a 184-pin slot and a DDR2 enabled chipset. Before going ahead, click Best Practices and Precautions to learn about some of the steps you need to keep in mind when installing the RAM. First, you need to locate the memory slot on the motherboard. Click a memory slot on the motherboard. Next, you need to hold the RAM module perpendicular to the memory slot. Remember to hold the RAM module by the edges and align the notches of the module with the notches on the slot. Using slide pressure, insert the memory module into the slot, taking care to ensure that the module is firmly placed in the slot. The ejector tabs at the side snap into place. If you want to remove a memory module from the slot, you must push the ejector tab outwards. When you are done, switch on the computer and follow the instructions given in the manual for configuring the new RAM for the system. The amount of RAM has a significant effect on the speed of the computer. Hence, you may want to increase the amount of RAM to increase the speed of your computer. Increasing the amount of RAM is referred to as upgrading the RAM. The memory is upgraded either by changing the previous RAM or by adding one more RAM with the previous RAM. The installation of a new RAM depends on the number of free available memory slots on the motherboard and whether the motherboard supports the additional memory. To calculate the additional RAM required for upgrading, you need to first check the number of memory slots present on the motherboard for installing the RAM. Then, check the type of installed RAM. Calculate the difference between the total RAM required and the currently installed RAM to get the amount of additional RAM required for upgrading. Based on the number of slots available and the amount of existing RAM, you can determine the number of additional memory modules and the capacity of each individual memory module. You must ensure that the new RAM matches the configuration of the installed RAM. The method for installing additional RAM is the same as the memory installation procedure you covered in the previous topic. When installing a DDR SDRAM memory module, at what angle to the motherboard must you insert the RAM? Select the correct answer and click Submit. Sorry, Try again. That's right. You must insert the RAM by holding it perpendicular to the motherboard. The RAM on this machine has recently been installed. However, after the installation, the computer will just not start up. Let us see if we can identify the problem. Do you remember the basic steps we must follow before we open up the machine for any kind of troubleshooting? Click Next for a recap. When troubleshooting, first check if the machine and the monitor have been switched on. The power connector of the system and the peripheral devices are properly plugged in the power supply junction. The monitor's brightness and contrast settings are set at the maximum or minimum limit. The cables of the various input and output devices have been properly inserted in the appropriate ports and sockets. There are no CDs, DVDs or floppies in the respective drives when starting the machine. Then try the following. Restart the machine. Switch the monitor on and off. Adjust the monitor settings. You have followed the basic checklist and found that all the external connections are fine. The machine starts up and you hear a series of beeps. But the operating system just will not load. Click Next to learn how to identify the probable cause. The beeps that you hear at the beginning could tell you a lot about the probable cause for the malfunctioning of the PC. When the system starts, the BIOS checks the hardware and plays a series of beeps, and the system pauses if any hardware connected to the system is not functioning properly. The system you are troubleshooting has AMI BIOS, which is a BIOS used by motherboard manufacturers. The table on the left gives a list of hardware errors indicated by the AMI BIOS beeps. Study this list and then click Next to continue. On starting the machine, you hear one long and three short beeps before the system stops functioning. Can you identify the probable cause for the system not starting up? Select the correct answer and click Submit. That's right. The one long beep and three short beeps indicate a conventional or extended memory failure. Click Next to learn what you can do to solve the problem. Having identified the cause for the system's failure to start up, you can now try to solve the problem by troubleshooting the memory. First, ensure that the memory module is compatible with your system. Next, you need to ensure that the RAM is properly connected. So, open the system and ensure that the memory modules are seated properly. If the problem persists, try cleaning the pins of the memory modules with a little alcohol or by using an eraser. If you use multiple modules, try reordering the modules by placing them in different slots. Use different combinations of the modules to identify if the problem is caused by one bad module. Now that you know how to troubleshoot your system's memory problems, click Next to check your understanding. Which of the following is the easiest way to identify problems with the memory? Select the correct answer and click Submit. That's right. The BIOS beep codes allow you to easily identify problems with the memory without opening the system. In this lesson, you learned how to identify the various types of RAM, describe the various memory packages, install and upgrade RAM, troubleshoot the memory. Click Next to take the quiz.